teenagers are universally difficult. And some teenagers more than others. Teenagers are not yet adults. They haven't found themselves. But they're not children. You can't just move them along. You have to convince them. You have to debate with them. And they have answers. They have arguments. I'm talking about regular parenting of teenagers is challenging because they're finding their identity. It's actually healthy. It's necessary. Everyone has to at some point figure out who they are on their own, so there's a little bit of separation. And very, very rarely does that separation happen gracefully. Usually, as they're learning to find their own identity, there's a certain awkward stage where they're fighting too much. They're rebelling just to figure out who they are separate from their own family of origin. And that's why the teenage years are always, no, not always, but generally, universally, commonly, the teenage years are just difficult all around. And by the way, I'm not just talking for the parents. It's difficult to be a teenager. And again, I'm talking about regular adolescence. You're going through all these changes, physically, socially. You have new opportunities, new responsibilities. Your brain is starting to work on another level where you can actually think philosophically, so you keep yourself up at night worrying with whole new level of worries. Being a teen is, you have all the existential dread, and you start worrying about what's the point of it all. And it's difficult to be a teenager. Difficult to be a teenager. It's difficult to be around them, difficult to be one. It's difficult to be a teenager. And then, of course, you have, there's an old expression that the Jews are just like everybody else, only more so. So then there's the teenager squared, an extra dose of teenage-itis. And so the separation and the confrontation and the conflict and the establishing my identity and how I'm different from you, it gets compounded. It becomes even more exaggerated. And what I want to ask you to do is I want you to think about the teen in your life. And I want you to try to remember when he or she was a baby. When they were lying there in their crib and you were watching them and kvelling. Look at this precious, beautiful child. And I want you to ask yourself, what happened from that time until this time that the kvelling and the nachas and the pride and the excitement and the love and the passion changed into frustration and annoyance and disappointment and heartbreak? They grew up. Okay, they grew up. Somebody says they grew up. Why is that fair? That because they grew up, I have to change how I feel about them. When they were a baby, you were able to be proud of them for no reason. What did they do as babies? That's how they didn't annoy you. What did they do to actually make you proud? What does a baby do? They lie there, they spit up, they make in their diaper, they cry, and they cry at 3 a.m. They don't care. They have no guilt. You think they're happy to see you. They're passing gas. They're not happy to see you. He smiled. Yeah, he smiled. And yet you're so proud of them. Look at this perfect baby, this bundle of joy. And so I want to know, how come when we're babies, we're perfect bundles of joy, and then when we grow up, everyone's getting annoyed with us? And in order to not have people annoyed with us, there's all these things we have to do to earn their approval. Think about the pressure now. When I was a baby, I didn't have to do anything. I didn't even have to wake up, and people were happy with me. And now, all these expectations that I have to do in order to earn your approval, to earn your smile. When I was a baby, I got your smile for free. I didn't have to do anything to earn it. And now, the default is if I'm not earning your smile, then I'm an annoyance, I'm an intrusion, causing you agmas nefesh. Don't think I don't know it. I know you're losing sleep over me. What happened? So I want to tell you something. I have a theory about this. It's just my theory. I noticed that there are 2 times in life when everybody is good, when everyone will say that you are good. There are 2 times in life. Kulam meidim, you're good. So the first one I already said is the aforementioned when you're a baby. All babies are beautiful. All babies are wonderful, at least to their parents, And the other time, when you die. Dead people are all tzaddikim. Achrei ma'is kedeshim emor. You see this all the time. Oh, you're so good. So basically, what does that mean? The only 2 times in life you get a free pass is when you just got to this world or you just left it. Everything in between, you got to earn your keep. And we're watching you. And we'll decide whether or not we like to have you around. But if you're a baby, if you're just born, you just came to this world, nobody's judging you. They're not deciding whether or not you get to be here. You get a free pass. You get to be here. And if you just died, then you're good also. So here's something that occurred to me. Because I thought about that a lot. And here's what I think. I think that the way we view babies and dead people is actually correct. It's actually correct. And it's the whole span of time in between that we get it wrong. And I think the reason that we get it correct is because if you think about who am I? Who am I? What am I really? I'm a neshama. A chelik elikami mal. Piece of godliness. How can you not love a neshama? How could you not enjoy being in the presence of a neshama, thinking of a neshama, picturing a neshama? So what happens is when we first came to the world and we just got our body, I think we're all sort of aware of the fact a neshama has just come to visit us. And so I think part of the chen that babies have is that we sense this is a neshama. And then it also explains why when people die, we also think favorably of them because now they left their body behind. Now all they are is a neshama. And I think we intuitively get it right at those two times, at the very beginning and at the end. But what happens is in the in-between, we start looking at each other as not our neshamas, not our true selves. We start using other criteria to identify each other. So now, instead of saying, you are this godly, holy being that has graced us here in this world with your presence, now we're starting to look, what kind of grades are you getting in school? What kind of personality do you have? Are you cute? Are you funny? Are you amusing? Are you able to put on your coat and get into the car quickly, or do you make me late? See, when you're a neshama, we're not thinking about these things. Everyone is good. But you spend a little while here in Elam Hazeh, in this physical world, and people start thinking that you are a whole bunch of stuff that's just superficial, that's really not the real you. And then your nachas in me becomes very conditional on me doing those things well. So I've got to get good grades, and I've got to be obedient, and I have to be able to get dressed quickly and get into the car without making mommy late. And if I have any struggles here in this world, I'm causing people pain and annoyance, and I can feel it. I can feel it. I can tell you're losing patience with me. So, when we talk about parenting extra challenging children, I think what we have to begin with, before we speak about that as a parsha unto itself, I think we need to visit the foundations of parenting b'chlal. Do you see your child as a neshama? Are we human beings having a spiritual experience, or are we spiritual beings having a human experience? You know, I was me long before I came to this world. The real me is eternal, infinite, everlasting, holy, incorruptible. Incorruptible. If I believe in Yom Kippur, I believe that. I believe the real me, what we call the yechidah shebenefesh, the core identity, we believe that's incorruptible. My nefesh could get a little bit dirty, my ruach, my neshama, even my chaya. We believe that there's that core identity in all of us, which is pristine and pure and holy and remains so at all times. I mean, that's what we believe. Can we start to see that in our children? Can we start to see them as beautiful and perfect? Because they are neshamas, and their neshamas are beautiful and perfect.